Heather, on November 6th, as we sat around the kitchen table and started our gift planning for Christmas, I asked you what you wanted for Christmas, and you said you wanted your grandpa. You wanted your grandpa to be here. I knew that was something that I couldn't guarantee for you. So I asked you again for something realistic. And being the stubborn girl you are, again you said that all you wanted was your grandpa here for Christmas. I'm sorry I couldn't give that to you. But I came up with something that is a far substitute. Don't get me wrong, it's the best substitute I could do, but it's far off from the real thing. Merry Christmas. Heather's always felt like she's got a special bond with you, and you're her grandpa, and so for the longest time I didn't even know that you were technically step grandpa, because the way she talks about you and the way she feels is
that's
you're
so special.
And so I'm sure
Well, let's see. She got me that canteen, and I've used that for water, and I'm glad I have it. And Grandpa's sick, so we better get him some water. And I've got this big stainless steel. We got that, and then that one sweater I wear. I like that.
She got that for you, and she picked up a shirt too. I think she was at Walmart, and I thought, oh well, that won't fit. And she brought it home, and you loved it. It was one of your favorite ones.
That sweater was just right, the right weight, that I could wear it outside, and iffy weather, and not worry too much about whether it's too much or not enough, because it breathed really well, and it had a zipper, pockets here, and I got paint on it and everything, but it was a good sweater.
Yeah.
Well, we always were proud of her, and we wished her the very best.
Quite an artist.
Wanting the crayons.
And Lori was into ceramics. She had a lot of ceramics, and she put together. And I was surprised that Heather didn't get into ceramics.
And she probably did with her mom.
A lot of pluses. Your stage presence, she'd sit and play that piano, just not miss a note. And when she was through, she expected the audience to clap. That was her part. But she walked around on that stage in front of all those people like she was a real professional. Proud of her.
yeah.
Gee, that just seems like yesterday. Let's see, what else?
And she always had the bright smile that lights up her room.
Oh yeah, smile. And the Teddy Ruxpin, they were at a premium that year for Christmas, and that's what she would like. And of course we looked all over and found one. Luckily we found a. And the look on her face when she saw it, and how bright everything lit up just like a Christmas tree. Yeah, and she really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
And then she went from calling 911 on Grandma to working for 911.
That's right. That's where she's at. And she's doing a good job.
Yeah.
She's pleasing, calming voice. When she picks up these incidents and 911 calls when they come in, she was just really right there and clear voice, and
The officers really like her.
yeah, because she had a calming influence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's kind of running here and there, and she was settling down. She's been a 911 operator for how long?
13 years now, I think.
13? We can check that,
But it's kind of interesting to know that, you know, she called 911 on Grandma.
but yeah.
That was the instinct that she had at the time, and then as she grew up, I mean, she ended up being a 911 operator. I think that's kind of cute.
And does she like it? Does she like the work?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loves the work. Sometimes she doesn't like
Yeah.
the politics of management, but
Yeah, that's always, you're always gonna have
Yeah.
management problem. Yeah.
so when she told you guys that
Mhm.
she was now a dispatcher, what did you guys think? How did you feel?
I thought she'd fit perfectly with her
I was really proud. Really proud to say that to my
countenance,
friend.
is a big smile, always, and she's hi, this, and she always says hello, Grandpa, and very personable. Yeah.
We were very proud of her when we heard
Oh,
that.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very proud of her, and she's been involved in several instances where she's had the calming effect, and it radiates over the radio, and the officers like her.
Yep.
What about the Christmas when she did the reindeer and the Santa Claus coming in across the sky? And
For me, with my military service and Heather being a dispatcher, there's a bond we have that
Yeah.
it's different, but it's the same as far as the service. And with your military service, did you ever feel that bond with Heather as she became a dispatcher? And
Yes.
excuse me.
My
Move the chair.
military service just adds to her ability to do her job, clear and concise, and is on top of the situation, making sure that she gets the
Well,
right
when you
people
were in
in
the
the
service,
right
did-
place. Medics and
yeah,
fire coordinates all that together, and I think that she's a good little gal.
nice to feel like you got someone in the family carrying on that tradition of
Sure.
service.
Yeah. We like the fact that she's hopefully carrying on that service.
For reckless driver wanting connection with several hit and runs. Plane chimney accident resulted in damage to rooftops throughout the city. Suspect vehicles in 2008. Red convertible sleigh was running boards and silver bells. Fitted class 9 reindeer, high performance engine equipped with a Rudolph four-legged reindeer in front. Personalized plate Mr. Claus with a got milk bumper sticker on the back. Suspect driver is an elderly male, approximately 6 foot tall, 320 pounds, white hair and blue eyes with sparkling wing. Bright red nose and red rosy cheeks led witnesses to believe that he's full of holiday spirit. He sports a well-groomed mustache and a full white beard that hangs down to his expansive belly. He was also wearing a red capsule down over his ears and a red velvet suit trimmed in white fur. He was also wearing a shiny black leather belt and black leather boots. Suspect was often getting noise from a chimney that he sideswiped. Witnesses described this placing his finger alongside his nose and slipping down the chimney. Agencies caution suspect will often produce false identification that indicates he is a saint by the name of Nicholas. He's also possibly 916 by eggnog. When he tries to check his ID, he will pull away and wish you a Merry Christmas as he drives out of sight. Any that sight this vehicle and or suspect notify dispatch immediately. Dispatch Authority of North Pole Police, Officer Crosby, audience tips located at 2128.
That's Heather.
Yeah. So hearing that, Grandpa, what does that make you feel? How do you feel?
She's more than qualified for the job, and just shows that she can handle just about any situation with expertise
But
and a big
listen to her,
smile.
listen to her voice, she does such a great job.
Yeah.
She really does. Well, we touched on the military service, so let's talk about that chapter. You did basic training and
Yeah, basic training at Fort Ord, second 8 weeks at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and
you were
Leonard Wood, Missouri was mainly combat engineering. It's kind of funny, but we did throw up an M4T6 tank bridge across the Big Piney River, and at night with the Green Company of Men, we made it down to the river, and half our company lost their weapons in the water, just climbing into the makeshift rafts that we had and float out. But we constructed a bridge across the Big Piney. It's a portable bridge with wooden pontoons. And the M4T6 is a heavy-duty bridge for tanks. It's amazing how they can handle tanks. And then a footbridge. Along with that, our demolition training, we had a whole company of men out there with a plastic cap in their hands. We managed to wire that together, a whole company of men with their plastic
I
caps,
just wanna make sure it's got water.
and plastic explosives, and everything went according to procedure. That's one thing that the Army, I think, does a great job of safety on these maneuvers and practices. Along with that, we also, right after lunch, we had another demolition exhibit and training. And that stand was packed with observers, military observers, and when they set that catch of explosive off, it woke up half the company sitting in that stand, and a couple of guys fell off the back of the stand when they woke up. I don't know if we want to have that. Right after that, 8 weeks, I had a weekly, which I spent in Texas. That's where my mom was then. And I went to Korea. We hit Pier 90, left Pier 91 in Seattle. Went up along the Aleutians and docked in Yokohama for 8 hours, and then boarded ship, and we landed at Incheon. And Incheon has a 60-foot tide, and that dry dock had to be 1.5 miles long, and you're hauling all your gear up along that and climbing in the bottom of a 1.5 and headed north. I was with the 8th Cav, and we were just south of the Imjin River. We had, I was on a battalion headquarters, which was pretty nice. Had a bowling alley, and of course the walls cracked on that because those Koreans slickied the cement out of mix, and so it wasn't strong enough to hold the roof on. But, in basketball, I coached a little basketball. We had Elgin Baylor playing. Of course, I just sat and watched. But what else?
So,
I get the mail. I write my driver and I. We go get the mail at battalion headquarters. We run it back. That was our daily routine on that angle. I was acting as a mail carrier. And Quonset and that weren't very well insulated. They got pretty cold. Kerosene heaters and these Quonsets.
What was your main job when you were over there? Were you engineering?
A little bit, mostly
like a CQ
So,
runner, charge
yeah.
of quarters runner.
yeah. I started out as working as a company clerk, and then went over to carrying the mail, and that was about the extent of it. I had a pretty soft duty.
Yeah.
13 months exactly, and I was on my way home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, even though it was soft duty, it's
yeah.
hard to be away and be
Oh yeah.
in an area like that.
Yeah, the smell was not very good.
Yeah.
Human waste for the rice paddies. They take their clothing down and wash it in the streams. It wouldn't be very clean, but they'd
Yeah.
put them on, and the smell wasn't the best.
What was the situation where you
And then
had somebody by the side of the river?
Yeah.
And,
I've got a picture of that.
well, tell us
Slide.
about it.
Well, just the Chinese, it looked like a Chinese ex-prisoner of war was talking to this guy in a rice paddy. And the Chinese were a lot bigger. That's why I think he was was Chinese, and then he's talking to this Korean by the rice paddy. And the driver was, I got to thinking about it later, the driver was only, we were about 100 yards or less, about 50 yards from this group, or it was the Chinaman and Korea. I never even thought once about if they decided to rush us, you know, for anything. Never even dawned on me.
Yeah.
But women did all the work, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And those Katusas, they can pick up a 55-gallon drum of oil in a slide that I was talking about. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I got a funeral. They bury, depending on your status, in whatever province they were in Korea. You bury if you're low status, they bury you closer to the bottom of the hill. As your prestige and authority rises, they bury you at the top of the hill. And those hills are amazing. They're just about like this, you know, almost straight up on the sides.
Yeah.
They're not very high, but they...
Well, since we're coming up on the holiday seasons, what do you remember of the holidays while you were over there for the year? You guys do anything for Thanksgiving and Christmas
Oh,
time?
oh yeah, we had Thanksgiving. We had Thanksgiving dinner. We're down in the NCO club having a few beers, and this one individual was pretty well snockered. He wanted to fight everybody in the in the place, you know. I don't know if I ought to bring that up.
What kind of turkey? Did you have turkey or
Yeah,
what? did you have?
turkey. We had turkey and stuffing and all the trimmings. Yeah.
And this is where, in what part? Yoka, no,
No, Korea.
in Korea.
See, we were just south of the Yalu River, which was the border at that time, based on a truce that we had. And we occupied the southern portion and the North Koreans, the north side. And the bridge, all bridges on that, crossing that river were wired up and ready to blow if things broke down. And a truce was signed, but it wasn't, we've never settled with the North Koreans on calling the war to an end. In fact, at the end, we did fight the Chinese army. They came down from the north. And those winters were awful cold, 60 below. The peninsula, of course, water on both sides, and a 60-foot tide. Highest in the world. And,
Yeah, you don't forget the cold, do you?
no, we,
You told me you never
13
got
months.
warm.
13 months and we were on our way home. We did stop once in Yokohama while they refueled and everything. Then it was non-stop, again, up along the Aleutians and docked in Pier 91 in Seattle. And
What kind of a ship were you on?
I did a troop ship. Troop
It's a
ship.
transport carrier.
Transport, yeah. And of course, we docked, and it's amazing. Part of it was my sister, you know, was trying to find out when the ships were coming in and all this, that, and the other, and told me she thought she could meet me down that very day I landed in the bus depot in San Francisco. And guess what? I was only about 5 minutes late. And she and Mom were standing there in the terminal. And stepdad said, "It'll never meet him." Because we had to take a hop from Travis down. A bunch of us didn't have tickets. But the amazing part of it was we traveled all that distance and there they were waiting for me. And then they were living in San Francisco, Mom and my stepdad was a career Army man, and he was with Patton there in World War II. He got a battlefield commission. Jack was really a nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something special about coming home and
Oh yeah.
your family being there. And
Yeah.
so when you came home from Korea, was that the end of your time in the military, or?
No, I had to go back up to Fort Lewis and spend some time at Fort Lewis, the 4th Infantry Division, Cloverleaf Badge. They
one of
got
my-
their colors in Europe during the war.
It's one of my favorite bases is Fort Lewis. I've
Yeah.
been up there 5 different times for trainings.
In fact, it's amazing. We stayed in the same barracks we stayed in before we went to Korea. And then we come back and we're in the same barracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. And Fort Lewis was pretty, it had a beautiful golf course. Sitting those Douglas firs, 18 holes.
Yeah.
It was just really pretty.
And you didn't partake at all, I'll bet.
No, just an observer. If they wanted me, that's where they'd have to go to find me.
Yeah.
But that was nice. I was in Fort Lewis, and there I went and mustered out up at the university up here. Then I, of course, had to spend some time in the reserves. A couple of years in the reserves with the 744th. And took a couple of trips up into Oregon along the Columbia River. And they were kind of fun. That's when the salmon were running in August. Huge salmon. And discharged there out of that 744th Engineer
Yeah.
up at the U.
Well, sounds like you had a well-served military career.
Oh yeah. No complaints. I didn't have any complaints. I was a draftee, and that's the way I wanted to. So I just finished school. And then they grabbed me in a hurry, and I was less than a month almost. I was in Korea, or on my way.
Yeah.
Less than a month in college, you mean?
No, I got I was out of school, and it was less than a month, really. But after I was finished with school, a couple of weeks Ord, and 2 weeks Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and then I was shipped out. Pier 91 is the end.
Yeah. So, at least you got a fun job.
Oh
Combat
yeah,
engineer.
it was a pretty good job.
You got a fun training.
Oh
You get
yeah,
to blow some stuff up.
oh yeah.
So, yeah, I was supply when I went through, so we got to learn how to write out hand receipts, and we didn't get to go demo caps or anything fun like that.
Yeah, we got to blow things down. Bangalore torpedoes, whole works. And it amazes me, that there wasn't more accidents.
Yeah.
You take a half a pound block of TNT, put electric cap in it, and those caps are pretty touchy.
Yeah. Sounds like you guys were well trained though, and
Oh yeah, I mean, it was pretty good.
yeah.
I built an SE-5 biplane model with a gas engine. It was in the post office
Yeah.
to take up some spare time. When I put VO ribbons on the wings, took it to the football field before I left, and flew it for a ways, and couldn't take it home, so we had a crash and a burn. And that was fun.
Yeah.
As a kid, I've always been into modeling. I was always into modeling. Airplanes. A lot of rubber band airplanes.
Heather, there's so much more I wanted to ask Grandpa about. His time as a football player at Utah State, his years with UDOT and the projects he was a part of, and his model train hobby. I didn't get those stories on video, but they are truths we will always remember about Grandpa. We are a Utes family, but the Aggies will always hold a special place in our hearts. Whenever we drive to Tooele to see Court and Katie, we'll be reminded of Grandpa's engineering brilliance. And at Christmas time, when we put our train around the tree, we will remember to find joy in our passions, the same as Grandpa found in his. Heather, I know this isn't what you meant when you said you wanted your grandpa for Christmas. I just hope that in his absence, this video brings you comfort, knowing that he lives on in you. He loved you, he was proud of you, and in your ways, you are carrying on his legacy. I love you.